This meeting is being recorded.
This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for the rant with Barbara Rose Brooker. Now, if you don't know who Barbara Rose Brooker is, when you go to the show notes, I want you to click on many of her websites, and especially agemarch.org, because today her guest is going to be helping us understand how we evolve. And you know what? There's no right or wrong way for us to dress as we get older. So, Barbara, introduce us to your guest.
Hello, everybody. This is going to be great. There's no such thing as age appropriate. Remember that. And we have today with us somebody who really knows about this, who can tell you about style and age and how style represents who you are. This is Annie.
Oh, it's so great to be here, Barbara. I've heard so many wonderful things about you, especially from Karen. And it's always wonderful to connect with you too, Karen. So thank you for making this possible. I just feel really blessed and honored.
Well, one of the reasons I really wanted you on, Annie, is that after our podcast together and the information you sent me, as I was reviewing it, I wasn't thinking about the fact that I really have the choice to look and dress the way I feel comfortable. And I listen to some of my friends and podcasters who will say to me, why don't you dress up? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I kept trying to please them all.
Yeah.
Until I read, you know what? It's not about pleasing somebody else. It's really about me and my identity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're open to it, ladies, I'd love to explore what you first brought up, Barbara. And that is that term, age appropriate. Because I'll bet you we've never really sat down and dissected that term. And so just to give you the context of why I'd love to explore that with you, is I have lived in a number of different situations, life situations. I've lived in a commune, like a religious commune. I've lived in, within the corporate world, the business world, and also now as a woman who is approaching 60, I'm now able to confidently tackle all those words: modest, professional, age appropriate. And what I've come to understand is that they're all subjective words. And after almost a lifetime, 60 is quite a long time to live for a lot of people, that is. And after a lifetime of exploring modest clothing, professional attire, age-appropriate wear, I've come to realize that all these words are words that we can debate with people for hours. And what the problem is around these words is that they're subjective. You can't quantify them.
Annie, what you're saying is, excuse me go ahead. I interrupted you.
Oh, no, I'd be curious to know your thoughts.
Well, I want to say I'm 85. And when people hear the number 85, they think, oh my God, I'm always told, cut your hair or wear colors and do this and do that. I never will, because I believe in being age inappropriate. And I do believe that style represents and reflects who we are. I can't wear what you wear. I can't wear what Karen wears. I have to wear what I want to wear and how I want to look. And it's such a simple message, but in our culture, it seems a very difficult one, because we are so invested in age And the media is constantly shoving down our throats with products and so forth, anti-age. And to go back and look a certain way and mutilate yourself and look like this and not like you. And those before and after pictures to vomit, really. I mean, sometimes the after pictures, the before pictures look better than the after pictures. But the point is, with the age, what you said, Annie, is so true. Obviously, you've worn many hats. And I really admire you. And 60, you're a baby. You're a baby compared to me. You know, when people hear 85, they expect you in every facet of our culture to look a certain way, sound a certain way, and be a certain way. And there is no certain way except for you.
Exactly. Love that you said that. Love that you said that. And thank you for inspiring women like myself and you know, younger generations of women, because when I was turning 50 and going through this transition of the whole age appropriate attire thinking, I couldn't find anything online or in the magazines, or even within my family lineage, there were so few. But what I was really looking for was a role model, something I could pin up on my wall, for instance. And now that's what I want to look like at 85, or that's my inspiration for turning 85. And I don't know about you, if you did this, I was able to find one woman, and I just clung to her like a life, a lifeboat, or you know what I mean, like this boat that was tossed out on the ocean. And her name was Carmen de la Lifiche. Don't know if you know of her.
Oh, the model.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, she's had her own tweaks, right? She's had plastic surgery.
She's gorgeous, and she has that white silver hair. And she's this word that's thrown around, and don't you agree too, Karen? This word, authentic. You know, there's all these cliches we're supposed to live by. Authentic, find your inner self, and all those are good. But we're breathing, we're alive, everyone's aging at every age, and we're always inventing ourselves, don't you think? And through, like, I'm looking at Annie right now, and you have definitely your own style. You know, it's unique. I love the way you look, and I love the way Karen looks. And yet none of us would probably wear what the others are wearing, because it's feeling who you are. Now, I know women, as we all do, who are 50, 60, 70, whatever, and they're constantly looking in the magazines, and they're constantly cutting their hair according to, they're bringing pictures in, you know, that kind of thing. And they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing this, and they if they have a line or a gray hair, they're at the dermatologist or the cosmetic surgeon. Some of that's fine. I'm not deleting all of it. We all want to look good. And there's, you know, a lot of things that we all can do. But generally, you wake up in the morning and you go to your closet and you don't you just pick out how you want to look, or what, even if it's to go to the market? You know, it's who we are. And I'm sick of those books, by the way, and I don't care if they write in how they hate me, these authors. I'm an author too. And I'm sick of these books that say how to dress at 50 and how to look in the marketplace. I don't want anyone telling me how to look. And what do you think, Karen and Annie, about that? Do I sound like a bitch?
No, and that's why the information that Annie has out on her website is so enlightening because it gets you to look inside yourself and say, like you
Yes.
said, how do I want to look today? You know,
Yeah.
who am I going to be with? Do I need to look a little bit different? Not for them, but for me.
For you,
You
right.
know, this morning when I was getting dressed, to be honest with the two of you, you know, I have not been feeling physically well. And I looked at my closet and I said, I need to be comfortable, but I don't want to wear black today because I've been wearing so much black. It's been draining me. And so I went to the lightest color that I had in my closet.
Yes,
and I pulled it out. But that's what I learned from Annie after all these years, that it's not about dressing for your show today. It's about dressing for me, because if I'm comfortable, guess what? I will come across that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you're too young, but Annie's too young probably. But I remember when, Jacqueline Kennedy, where everything she put on, they would run and buy the pillbox hat, or you mentioned Annie, the Annie Hall look, and they would run and buy the hat to look like Diane Keaton or whatever. Life is a theater. We live in our own theaters, and we can change how we want to look and create how we want to look at any day. It's not all about page 12 on Vogue magazine.
No.
Fashion, don't you agree? Fashion and style are two different things. Nothing wrong with fashion. Sometimes it can accommodate our style. Like I love Yves Saint Laurent. Oh my God. So maybe one of his Russian blouses would make us, add to our own style with a pair of jeans or something. So it's not about looking one way or being one way. And this is the problem with our culture, in my opinion, is the media is constantly saying, be this, look this way, use this moisturizer, and it'll take 20 years off you. And maybe someone doesn't want 20 years off of them. And by the way, they don't work anyway, but they're all good. But they're all good,
So,
I mean, I have moisturizer on.
So Annie, as you look at Barbara and myself, okay, and we look at you, so I love your vintage look. Okay?
Yeah, I do too. I love it.
I look at all three of us. We wear our hair differently. We are dressed totally different. We are three energetic women who are trying to reach out to our public. And yet we can do it differently. So how do you help myself and Barbara to know that it's okay to be us?
That's a good question. I think I'd have to ask for more information around that. In particular, what do you like? How to be more you? What are you currently struggling with then in terms of how to be more you? How to express more of yourself, or right?
Yes, that's really interesting. And it is a good question. Like if I went to Annie and I said to Annie, Annie, I'm kind of stuck with I only wear black, by the way, but which is my choice, but I'm kind of stuck. There's something that I want to do more with accessories and hats. I love hats and shoes. This is who I am, blah, blah, blah. Then Annie, I imagine you would kind of evaluate interpret who you think I am, what I do, how I live.
It's not about me. So what I do is I use visualization. And I put people through closed eye exercises, and then they internally see the vision. And then, with a little bit of guidance, I coach them through, helping them find that flesh out that vision and also further explode their thinking around it. Because where it concerns style, we have been so indoctrinated in certain ways to think that if I have a yellow top, I got to pair it with a blue, like a navy
Right.
blue or a black. And I love just going, well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And then people go, ooh, that looks a little wrong, but and then we put it together and it's like, oh, but I love it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. We're so in a right or wrong society.
Right.
And that's why I love watching old films, because some of our wonderful movie stars who they weren't living in an era where they could run at lunchtime and get Botox. And they maintained their glamour through their 70s and 80s. And they weren't matchy this, and this is wrong, and this is right, and so forth. So that's interesting what you're doing. Actually, what you're doing, in my interpretation, as a writer, I always dress my characters in ways that I wished I would dress. In a way, you're creating a whole story for each client.
Totally. Because it's in line. Like, I first help people get clear. What is your divine mission? You might not, maybe you're comfortable with divine, or maybe it's just, what is your mission? But what's your soul's higher purpose?
Uh-huh.
What's speaking to you right now about where you see yourself going in life? And then what's the role that you're playing in that? So let's stop looking at style as, who am I today? What's my current lifestyle? What are my lifestyle needs? Because that in itself is so limited.
Yes.
When you're approaching it from a higher level perspective of, what's my big vision? Who am I becoming in this big vision? It's like you're literally changing from Superman's mild-mannered alter ego, quiet, unassumable, invisible, etc. It's like you're stepping out of that reality, because that's what society does to us. It makes us into, Clark Kent.
Yes.
When we can step into our soul essence, then we become like Superman. When we find the clothing that aligns with that essence, it's so powerful. I'm always astounded, because we've been programmed also to think that style is just so superficial, it's so frivolous, but it's really not.
No.
It has the power to completely transform our lives.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful. I mean, Halloween comes, for example, and everyone, oh, I'm going to be a vamp tonight, or I'm going to be a witch, and we dress accordingly. We let ourselves go.
Yeah.
I think we can do that all the time. You can paint flowers on an old pair of jeans, or, put sequin butterflies on a hat, whatever you feel. You don't have to be one thing for each occasion. Right, Annie?
Yeah. I was so inspired by this woman on my cancer journey who, she had all the procedures. She was just so raw about how many operations she had gone through. She was taking photos of herself, and, her body had just been going through the ringer. But in her final moments, she would dress like a Spanish conquistador.
Oh,
With
the men
collar, the sleeves that were like
beautiful
everywhere she went. And I just thought, why does it take us to the point of facing life and death to finally bring out this essence where, we're just unapologetic about saying, well, actually, this is who I am. I'm quite expressive in my in how I want to show up. And people just celebrated her for that. She had such a following.
That's a great, I'm almost crying at that, because that's really what it's about. And that's not to say we have to have millions of clothes and things.
No.
Just a matter of interchanging a few things, don't you think? I mean, if you have an old rhinestone earring, this is what I do, at least. I have like one earrings because I've lost so many things like that. And I'll just stick them on a chain or on a shoe or on a hat. You can do so much how you feel, and it doesn't have to be one way. And really, do you feel as I do, Annie and Karen? Am I sounding really negative when I say that the media and the internet, but mostly the media, they promote a way to look and a way to be? Wear a nice plain business suit and a little white blouse, when you're going for a job interview. Well, you're not going to go in your go-go skirt and 10-inch high heels, but that doesn't mean that you have to adhere to anyone's rules. Break the rules, ladies. Break the rules.
Well, don't you think that our society has taught us for a very long time? And I remember this as a young kid, wanting to dress up to go to school.
Right.
And I would get all dressed up, and you'd walk into school and everybody would say, why are you dressed up today? Is it your birthday? Are you going somewhere special? And I used to find myself making excuses. It wasn't because I really wanted to get dressed up. I did.
Right.
If I said that, that to me would have made me sound foolish. And so I would make up a reason why I got dressed up.
Oh, you felt out of line.
Absolutely.
Oh.
But as I've gotten older, I'm not that way anymore. Okay. And I've had people who have said to me on an occasion, why would you wear that outfit? And I'll give you an example. I have a pair of black and white plaid pants, and I have a red and black plaid vest. Not the same plaid, but I love how it looks together. There once was a time I wouldn't have done that.
You weren't allowed to.
You would have had to have solid pants or solid top.
Right.
I wore that when I was in New York for Thanksgiving. I got more compliments over that. And I'll tell you, I try to wear it at least once a week.
Because it's who you are. You gave it energy. You wore it, and it didn't wear you. You gave it energy. And this is what's so important. Can you imagine? I have two fabulous daughters, as Karen knows, and they're both have incredible style. But how many times they've said to me, my own daughters, Mom, you have to, cut your hair. I like a neater look at your age. How many times do we hear throughout our culture, you're at your age? I heard it when I was 50. I heard it when I was 40. I heard it when I was 30, each decade. And isn't it absurd? I mean, if we were in a play on Broadway, we could change our outfits many times, maybe to play one character. Well, life brings us stories every day. So I say, fill your closet with your fantasy things, whether you go to thrift shops or wherever, mix them, whatever, or you have some of you who buy couture, mix it up. And be who you are. That's my message at 85. Please don't do what I had done. Don't mess up your lives like I had, where I really felt I had to be a certain way. I had to look a certain way. I think when I hit 75, I reacted. That's when I started, wearing the real high heels and the sequins on the hat. I just threw it to the wind.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to do, Barbara and Karen, I put on this workshop in a small city where everybody was so confined and restricted around what they wore. Women would literally dress you down on the street if you wore something that they thought was inappropriate.
Mm.
It was very casual, very rednecky. So I put on this event where I said, I'm going to show you how to find your superhero cape. And then there was about 30 women in the room, and I took one item of clothing, and I asked them, where would you wear this? And they said, Christmas, New Year's. I said, right. And then it would probably sit at the back of your closet after that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I said, I'm going to show you how to wear this all year long, any time of the day, any season. And
I love that.
I brought about 50 different changes of clothing. And I did a live demonstration behind one of those Chinese curtains.
Yes.
And then just took off, put on hats, earrings, belts, handbags, shoes, high heels to sneakers, to boots, leather jacket, a cape, or
with the one item you did this.
With a sparkly skirt.
Love that.
And then by the end of that, they were all going, it was priceless.
I love it.
Because then they were just shocked at, first of all, I can actually wear a sparkly skirt to the grocery store.
Absolutely. I love that. In fact, I'm thinking, Karen, what do you think? I would love to do a prop. I call it a prop on our podcast with the three of us and bring out I would bring out my hats and earring clips and things with one eye, and we could do it.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't that be fun? And then the people out there who are listening and watching, could do the same thing.
Absolutely.
I love that, Annie. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Suddenly 60.
Yep. We got to start our own fashion line then, because by the end of it, one woman said to me, she said, you could have sold 30 sparkly skirts that night.
Right.
We wanted a sparkly skirt.
Right. Well, it's so true.
I think when we talk about these things openly and we show individuals like you do in your demonstration, Annie, that now you can visualize it. Now you see it. Okay. And you say, I never thought of doing that before. And that's how I came up with my outfit. I sort of saw it online, not the same, playouts, but I saw something similar and I thought, do I like that? I kept going back and looking. Do I like it? Don't I like it?
Yeah.
And then when I ordered this vest and I was trying to figure out what I was going to wear it with.
I love it.
And I found the pants. It was like the worst thing that can happen is I'm going to put it on. I'm not going to like it.
You're not going to like it. I mean,
and I'll change it,
Right.
But I think we now have to start giving ourselves permission to be the women we want to be. Would I go into a job interview in that outfit? No, I wouldn't. Not that it's a bad outfit, but it just probably might, the person across the way from me may see me as not totally put together, but I could still wear my vest with something else.
Absolutely.
Wear those pants with something else. And that's what you're talking about.
And those women out there right now who are 70 plus and 80 plus, please don't think you have to be age appropriate. In fact, you don't even need a lot in your closet. I have a few black pieces mixed with some designer stuff. and a bunch of broken earrings and things, and, older shoes and tons of hats. You can do so much. Doesn't it happen, Annie and Karen? For example, I went to Walgreens to pick up my meds the other day, and I just felt like wearing this green bowler hat I had, and I picked a flower on the way, and I wore my painted jeans. And I must have had 10 people in line ask me where I got the hat. The hat's like 30 years old, I think. I mean, you don't need a lot in your closet to create, and to not only create, but to love yourself and to reflect yourself in so many ways. And that's why I want everyone out there to join agemarch.org, because my Age March now has way over 200,000 views on YouTube from women and men all over the world at all different ages. And Karen and Annie, you're going to be in Age March Part 2. So this is important for us to, let's get over the age thing, for God's sakes. You're breathing, so enjoy it.
Annie, how can our listeners find you? Because you have so much to offer.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Well, one way is my website, www.theascensionstylist.com. And the other way is, and when you asked me that the last time, Karen, I drew a blank because I have shifted so much online that I was thinking, where am I now?
What's your last name, Annie? Because a lot of people out there will Google if they like Annie. Yeah. What is your last name?
Annie Francesca, the Ascension Stylist.
Francesca. So I think people should Google Annie. And I think you're fabulous. I love what you say, and I love the way you look.
Thank you. I love the way you two look.
Oh, I'm thrilled. Thank you.
Well, I think we should plan another show like you suggested, Barbara. Yes. I think that would be great.
Wouldn't that be fun to have our props?
Because we all have different props. And I think our listeners would really see that and go, oh, so Barbara likes hats. Okay. I'm a scarf person. So I have bags and bags full of scarves.
Oh, I love it.
Awesome.
And, I've always wanted to be a hat person, but I still haven't felt comfortable in one yet.
You really have to feel it, but each person has different things that they feel. Somebody else might have some kind of old necklace or something. I mean, it's got to be something that maybe they're afraid to wear because they think, oh, this is too much, or I'm going to look funny. We're so squished into being these little things in this culture to fit into these little boxes. It's pathetic.
Yeah. And I've seen stylists who have worked with somebody, and the business person is showing up on a networking event, and you could tell their energy is so shrunken after, because now they're in this box of, I am classic. I'm this classic style.
Yes.
That's still an outward expression.
It's a label.
Yeah, it's a label.
It's a label. I've done a lot of national TV. And when I've gone on national TV, I have been told by the producers, this was up to the last show were 2020. I was told before I arrived to wear such and such and such and such. And I look back now, well, maybe I didn't want to wear that, or maybe I didn't feel it that day. I think it's changing a little bit, but we're still very, very squished into what's right and what's wrong. So Annie, you're changing the world, and Karen, let's change the world. You girls change the world.
Yeah, well, let's put on our superhero capes and change the world.
I think that's right. Well, we're so glad you could join us today. We will do this again. And in the meantime, all of Annie's information will be in the show notes. So even if you missed it in the podcast, don't worry about it. Go read the show notes, contact us. And Barbara, we will have another show in March. And you're going to be a guest on a show next week too. So we'll have to put that out on Facebook so everybody knows to listen. And we'll get another show scheduled with Annie, and we'll bring all of our props.
I love it. I'm honored to be with you, lovely people. Thank you, Karen, and lovely meeting you, Annie.
Thank you, Barbara. Honored to be here. It's such a pleasure to meet both of you.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Bye.